Ta-da! There it is. Brand new and shiny V-Wing. Look at that. Look at that. Get a look at that nice engine. In the front view and the side. Do 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 do. Anyway, welcome back everybody. Here in my hand I hold the great V-Wing of the Republic today. Spin it around. Here we are. Come a bit closer, get a nice view. So today I'm going to have a brief look at the V-Wing pack, see what we get, and maybe have a discussion of what I think and what we could potentially do with that. But obviously we're going to do that in later gameplay that we shall see, of course. At the moment I haven't painted it yet, but you may have seen that I said I was going to paint it in the Tarkin colour scheme, sort of that black blue, which I will show you at the end of the video. There we are, nice side view, nice yellow on the engines there. Really like that one. Other side, front and top. We take base for example. Let's take Oddball's base. Here we are. If we take base here, we'll put it in like that. That is what we've got. That's how it will look in the game. We've got Snodball there. Awesome. So, come back to the model a little bit later, get a nice close-up of the painted version. But while I've got you, make sure you subscribe, press the like, comment any thoughts. We'd really love to know if you've done any interesting paint jobs. But let's have a look at what we've got. So, first up, of course, we have our myriad of cards, including the quick build cards. Won't go into that too much because, as you may know, they don't follow normal rules. As you can see here, we've got 2 talent slots, which normally doesn't happen. If you find them helpful, do look at them, use them for ideas. I've done that, although I don't take the thing to heart. So let's start with our pilots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pilots there. Very nice. And first up, we have the Loyalist Volunteer. Obviously it's a generic, so no pilot ability. And of course we have the ship ability, which is twin ion engines, so it can use TIE fighter cards as it ignores the TIE ship restriction. It's important to note that clones and non-clones use their ships, so some of them will have the clone keyword and others don't, when we may see cards that have that effect. And of course we have the ship stats, which are 2 attack, 3 evade, 2 hull and 2 shield. So next up we have the Shadow Squadron Escort. So the higher initiative generic. No, again, no ship ability. This is a clone character, so he has the clone keyword, and his little nugget of information says, in the waning months of the Clone Wars, the clone formations carry out missions critical to the future of the Republic, such as the protection of Supreme Chancellor Palpatine's personal shuttle. As you can see in the picture, you may remember the scene at the end of episode 3 where Palpatine's shuttle was escorted by V-Wings as we saw the birth of Vader as he came to be known. Working our way up the initiative, we have a character we all know, Wilhuff Tarkin, the future Grand Moff. As you can see, he's got the black variant. And his ability says, during the systems phase, you may choose an object that you have locked at range 1 to 3. Another friendly ship at range 1 to 3 may acquire a lock on that object. So really good there. Him granting a lock to another ship. That's really good. That might free up your action space potentially. Working up to an I4 now, we have Click, GC 1000. Now he is a clone. I didn't think he was initially, but it turns out he is a clone pilot. GC stands for Group Captain. And his ability says, while a ship that you have locked at range 1 to 3 defends or performs an attack, you may spend 1 charge. You have the single charge there that's recurring. You may spend that charge to prevent range bonuses from being applied. So a similar ability to the Grand Inquisitor there, obviously a bit less powerful as he's not a Force user, which makes perfect sense. Next we have Oddball. Now we all know what Oddball does. He's in almost every Republic ship. His ability says, after you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, that if there is an enemy ship in your bullseye, you may acquire a lock on that ship. Really good ability. It has grown on me a lot. Different ships do vary up how you might do that. I've had a good run with Oddball lately in the V19 Torrent, so the very first ship, and I'm now working my way onto potentially using him in the other ships, but I think this will be a good ship for him as well. Certainly very different to all the others. The only odd thing I've noted is that text position just a little bit lower? Has it been formatted slightly incorrectly? Is it just me? I'm not sure. If it's just this card, I've got a strange pack, then let me know. I'd be very intrigued to see if other packs don't have this issue, but it doesn't make much difference, so not too worried there. And the final pilot here, we have Contrail. Now his ability says, while you defend or perform an attack, if the bearing of your revealed maneuver is the same as the enemy ship, so that is not the speed, that's not the difficulty, that's whether it's a bank, a straight, or a turn. So an interesting mechanic there. If the bearing of your revealed maneuver is the same as the enemy ship, you may change one of your enemy ship's eye results to a blank result. So nerfing some dice there, which is really good. Next up, let's look at the upgrade cards. So there they all are. Let's start with the ones that we're more familiar with, as we've seen it in other packs. So the Ion Limiter Override tie upgrade. As you can see there, that is the requirement. And of course the ability of V-Wing means you can ignore that and the ship can be equipped onto a V-Wing. As we all know, after you fully execute a red maneuver, you may perform a barrel roll action even while stressed. If you do, roll an attack die and on a hit, gain a strain, on a crit, gain an Ion token. And you may remember that we saw my TIE Heavy use this and just carry around one singular Ion token for the entire game. Let's move on to the brand new things. Thermal detonators. Oh, this one has excited me quite a lot actually. So during the systems phase, you may spend up to 2 of your charges to drop that many thermal detonators using the 1 or 2 template. Each must be placed at a different template, and when you reload these charges, you regain an additional charge. So you can regain up to 2 charges. And you have a total of 4. Lovely. And while we have the thermal I'm going to move on to how it detonates. So I've got a bit of information here, and I'm just going to read what actually happens when it explodes. So, like normal bombs, at the end of the activation phase, this device detonates, and when it detonates, each ship and remote at range 0 to 1 of this bomb rolls 1 attack dice. Each one gains 1 strain for each eye result, and each ship and remote suffers 1 hit crit damage for each matching result. It's 1 dice per bomb, but a lot more happening. Let's now have a look at the astromechs. So we've got 2 astromechs here. We have the Q7 and we've got R4A7. So let's look at the Q7 first. Q7, a Republic droid, and his ability says while you barrel roll or boost, you can move through and overlap obstacles, which is a really interesting ability. Important to note, however, that does not mean you ignore them. So ignoring and moving through is very differently. Normally you cannot do either. If you attempted to boost or barrel and you would go through a rock or a cloud, you'd fail it and stay where you are. With this equipped, you would complete the maneuver, or the reposition, whatever you want to call it, but you would still have to roll the dice, still suffer the effects of it, so something worth considering there. And here we have R7A7, so apparently this is Ahsoka's droid. So interesting that they've brought it out here. Definitely want to put it on Ahsoka for some thematic games, I'm sure she would love it. Now his ability is, while you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge to change one of your hit results to a critical result. And of course you have 3 charges. It's a non-recurring charge, so 3 times and it's done, but really interesting. And now here we have a modification card, the Precision Ion Engines. It is another tie ability, and it also requires you to have 3 agility, so something like basic ties, tie interceptors, and probably some others that I can't think off the top of my head right now. And it says that before you execute a speed 1 to 3 choreographed turn, it's a K turn or a U turn for those less familiar with the terms, you may spend 1 charge to execute that maneuver as a signal loop, which is a bank turnaround. Got 2 charges, so also non-recurring, but definitely gives you a bit more variety. The V-Wings here, they have a 2K, so that potentially makes it into 2 signal loop, which it can be very helpful. And finally, that brings us on to the config cards. So let's start with the Alpha 3B Besh config, which says while you perform a primary attack, you may spend your lock on the defender to change one of your blank or eye results to a hit. So similar ability to maybe the fire control system. Really helpful if you don't need to reroll all your dice, maybe just 1. And of course it adds the bomb slot as well, so you can take the thermal detonators or something else if you desire, maybe like a proximity mine or proton bomb. I quite like both of them, I think they're great. And that brings us on to the final card, which is the Alpha 3E-esque config. Now it has a 2 charge with 1 recurring, and it says while you perform a primary attack before rolling attack dice, you may spend 2 charges. If you do, your critical results inflict ion tokens instead of damage. That's an interesting mechanic. I quite like the idea of it. I've had some fun with ionizing in a Y-Wing list that I have, and is very much despised by the people at Entoyment. Yes, Connor, I'm talking about you. One suggestion that you may have seen on the article was to pair these 2 together to maybe guarantee a few more crits, because of course it is more difficult to roll a crit than a normal hit. Potentially Marksman as well could be a good pair with this one. You've got plenty of options. And that's all the cards. Let's have a quick look at the templates and tokens we have. So in total we have 4 thermal detonators, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Same size as the other bombs. Do like the art, very nice. Also we have 2 target locks, the number 14, and of course you have the matching ID tokens, 2 strain tokens, a stress token, 2 ion tokens for your ESC config, a critical marker there, a focus token, and of course 2 shields. But most importantly, we have lots of charges in this. We have a massive stack here. There we are, 10 charges. And of course we have the ship bases. All 3 are here, there we are. We have oddball on this side, like so. On the reverse, we've got Click, the I4. On this one we have Tarkin, and he has the Loyalist Volunteer on his reverse. So the non-clone pilots are on one base, that's interesting. And then of course Contrail, and on his reverse the Shadow Squadron Escort, very nice. And of course we have the plastic pegs and base there. Bit difficult to see, I know, but they are clear plastic. And the final thing is of course the ship dial. There we have it. Let's have a look at the maneuvers that the V-Wing can do. As you can see, it's a fast ship. Only got 4 reds on there. We have a 1 hard turn and we have a 1 bank turn. The bank turn is red and the hard turn is white. The 2s are all blue, so we've got everything. 2 hard, 2 bank, 2 straight, and a 2K, which is red. Remember, you can change that if you equip the precision ion engines. We also have all the 3 turns. So we've got bank 3 and hard 3, which is white, and a straight 3, which is blue. Then we have a 4 white straight and a 4K, which you cannot change with the ion engines. And then we have the 5 straight. And there we have it, peeps. That is absolutely everything we've got in the V-Wing pack. Here's another look at the model again. As you see, I've now painted it in the blue-black Tarkin colour scheme. If you would be interested to know how I did that, I have some footage of that if you would like to know, and I can show you how that's done. But that is the end of the video. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And when we have news on the Jedi Interceptor, we will undoubtedly unpack that one as well as the Tri-Fighter. When my brother gets his hands on a Tri, I'm sure he will show us what goods lay inside. In the meantime, we'll have some games from before the lockdown to enjoy still. But make sure you stay safe and have a great week. See you soon.